Okay, the government has escalated the abuse in areas that you wouldn't believe, so won't even discuss it. They entice businesses to be a part of harassment schemes. So I'm about to call police headquarters and ask some questions. Police headquarters is they hang up and they play games because they're denying me my records, and they've been doing it for years for like 70 something reports, ranging from they're denying investigation and records for me being trapped on trains, ran off roads, guns pulled on me, thefts, robberies, attacks, assaults. They don't want me to have the records because they're tampering with evidence, covering for the chaos. So that's why they keep hanging up. They're also depriving me of investigation. So they don't want me to have the records because it may show investigators if any were assigned, and they don't want me to have those records. So they've been depriving me of those for years. So let's see what happens when I call. 95% of these businesses are not returning my calls, even churches. Hello. May I have your name? This is Dallas Police Headquarters. They hung up. Yeah, they won't answer. They would not respond to my calls. They keep hanging up. This has been going on weeks. And they've done it prior. Like when I have reports they refuse to investigate, this is what they've been doing. For one period, they just won't answer the phone for weeks. I have never seen corruption to this degree where people have robbed the person, the government has robbed the individual, deprived them of their right to go to court out of corruption. I just never heard of it. Locked and closed up businesses to cover for their crimes. I mean, this is something else. They didn't answer. You can see the 2 times I tried to call them. I'm calling again. It's sick. It's ringing. Years of this chaos. So I just thought of the YouTube channel because I just knew people wouldn't believe my experiences. You have to see it to believe it. And a lot of the abuse I can't even discuss with you because you just wouldn't believe it. But they did not answer. So for the Social Security Administration, they would not talk to me, period. Because there should have been money that my son as well as myself were we were eligible for. So they just kept hanging up and playing games. So I just said, forget it. So I can't call the FBI because the FBI scammers pretend like they can't release any information. I can't call the Department of Justice because those scammers cover up for crimes and play games too. So I just have to try to call the police departments that the scammers allow me to speak with. So I'm calling South Central Patrol and see what they say regarding this harassment scheme.
South Central, how may I help you?
Yes, may I have your name, please? Second Police Department. Hello? You have to see it to believe it. They would do this when there was something, an emergency going on, something serious.
South Central Patrol, Cassandra, may I help you?
Yes, may I have you? I'm sorry, what was your name?
Cassandra.
Okay, are you officer?
I'm a public service officer.
Okay, who was that just answered the phone and didn't want to give me her name?
That was me, ma'am. I had put you on hold.
Okay. If the government is part of harassment, is that still considered harassment? If they're harassing a party to cover up for their crimes, isn't that still criminal, or does it change since it's the government?
I'm going to transfer over to the government if the government's doing it to you.
I'm sorry?
If the government's doing it to you, then it'll go over to the government.
If the government is part of a harassment scheme to torture and harass government witnesses, isn't that still harassment if it's the government, or does it change because it's the government?
No, it'll be government.
Okay, so I'm asking if it's still harassment if the government is part of a harassment scheme.
I'm not sure. You probably have to contact somebody with the government now.
Okay, so this is the police department. And I'm asking you if the government is part of a harassment scheme and harasses government witnesses, if that's still considered harassment and you don't know because it's the government.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, here's the thing. I've been calling around years not getting anywhere. I don't
Okay.
understand why you would think that it would be a double standard if it would be harassment for another party. Why would it change because it's the government? They still need their charges.
Standard, ma'am. I told you if there's an issue dealing with the government, you need to contact the government. I don't know.
You are part of the government. You're the police department. Your name's Cassandra?
Yeah. Well,
I haven't been able to get answers years, man, because they keep hacking my phone network, which is a crime. And then having my providers cut my phone off and all this other chaos. Covering up for child abuse, enforcing it, ma'am. So I'm trying to figure out if the government commits crimes, is it no longer criminal because it's the government? Is it a double standard? Will they continue to get away with these crimes because it's the government? Or will they actually get their charges?
You're dealing with, ma'am, is that who you need to take it up with?
You're part of the government, ma'am. You're part of the government. This is the police department. Huh? You are. You're in the, covering up for crime. Ma'am, if the police department wants to be enlisted in harassment schemes and cover up, is that criminal? Where would I go to get that feedback? Because I've been trying to get it to years, and these scammers I keep calling on my phone that you guys enforce keep covering for it. It's very difficult for me to call to get any assistance. She hung up. She's not on my phone. Let me try another one.
Dallas Police Department, Officer Curry.
Hello, Officer Curry. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you, Miss Clark?
Oh, how do you know my name?
It's police department. We have the caller ID.
Okay. I'm fine, ma'am. I'm kind of not happy about the harassment scheme I'm a part of. I've been involved in a harassment scheme. I've been getting harassed for years. And I wanted to know that if a party abuses their power for harassment, entices businesses to be a part of harassment schemes and abuse, is that still criminal if the government is enlisting people in it, or does it change?
Regarding businesses, Ms. Clark?
Yes, what they're doing is they entice businesses to be bullies and deprive me of services and harassment schemes that I can't even really discuss because I'm not sure that people would believe me.
Were you a prior employee of any of these businesses?
No, I'm a witness.
Okay.
And I've even been deprived of my right to go to court out of corruption, which is a constitutional right. I've never heard of that.
Right.
So that corruption is very escalated to deprive a citizen of the right to go to court when you falsely arrested her or detained her on false pretenses. On some of those occasions, they just took my right away to go appear at court. And I thought that was like criminal.
You know, Ms. Clark, I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn.
Well, can you find out, man? Because I've been trying to find out years, and I think the reason why people don't know is they're sabotaging information. Can you find out? Because I don't understand why it would be a double standard if it would be criminal. Harassment is a criminal offense for other parties. Why would it change because it's the government?
All right, Ms. Clark, what I would do, I have your number on the call. I'm going to ask my lieutenant when she comes in at 10:30.
There's no one in the office. That should be a fairly simple question, ma'am. Why would it change because it's the government doing it?
I don't know now.
Well, yes, it should be there's someone there that knows because I've been trying to figure it out years.
No. And I'm going to call you back when I ask my lieutenant.
I don't get calls back, ma'am. 95% of my calls aren't returned. People just play games and say that and never return my calls. Even churches.
I'll do that quote with you. I said what I said, Ms. Clark. I will call you back. You understand?
So you don't know who I can call to figure out if the government's committing crimes, if it's still crimes.
911 if you want to.
So call 911. Y'all keep on trying to give me charges for calling 911 to report your crimes.
Go right ahead. You're a victim, aren't you?
Yeah, but they already have a ticket, a $400-some ticket reporting your guys' crimes.
I said what I said. I'm done.
I don't know why you would argue with me and wouldn't just check with other officers that abide by the law.
Good day. Goodbye.
I don't know about you, but this is Southwest Patrol. I think this is absolutely terrifying because if no one's regulating the government, how dangerous can this get? Okay, I'm calling Southwest Patrol. Sometimes the calls don't go through. They get so infuriated. And like I said in the past, my phone would just shut off. They would get upset and they were controlling my calls, so they just cut it off like they did with AT&T. And then when I went to AT&T to report it, they had AT&T give me criminal trespasses to enforce it. It's still not calling. They would show up in schemes like they did at the Red Roof Inn. So they just sit on my phone, get infuriated that I'm trying to escape their abuse, and they used to just show up. It's not dialing. Let me try again. You can see the first call. I'm trying again. It's doing the same thing again the second time. This is like a horror movie. It's like a horror movie. And in the past, when I wasn't recording, it would absolutely shut off. My phone has shut off, shut down multiple times. Text, data. I would look up certain things, trying to find education on escaping their abuse organizations. They just shut my data off. They were way out of control. So whatever's going on, they're escalating the abuse avenues I can't even tell you about because you wouldn't believe it. I tried to expose it in the past, and I realized that I just knew people would not believe my experiences. This is the second call that won't even go through. Okay, this is where I got the information, and I'm clicking call. That's the number that came up, and I'm calling again. Okay, it's already in the process of dialing. Hello? It won't go through. I pay this phone bill. I have been paying this phone bill years for the providers to enforce these crimes along with the police. No response, timed out. I will call a third time. And mind you, the only thing that I've done, like Wil Smith, he had no clue what was going on. Only thing that that I know of is I met this stalker online, and then all this chaos escalated out of control. I believe that I was getting stalked prior to my knowledge, and then when he incorporated himself into my life online, that's when it really got out of control. And since he was already stalking me, he wanted to speak with me on fake pages and had a very unusual way of communicating because he already knew he had committed crimes and stalked me prior, and he didn't want any connection to me. I didn't know that. I just thought he had a weird way of communicating. I was pretty ignorant. This great looking, wealthy guy, stay at home mom. I was very amazed that he would be interested in a mom with 3 children. So, I thought that was intriguing. But, you live, you learn. And I know some mistakes that can cost you your life in making these decisions and with parties, dating people that are not in the proper standard for you to be dating can actually cost you your life. So that's a lesson learned to not make that mistake again, to be more selective about the men I chose. And you know what? I'll use this opportunity. I had a YouTuber want information on my background. I have been involved, been a part of some abuse in the past, some emotional abuse, narcissistic abuse in my upbringing. So I have come from an abusive background. I won't go into details. So I've been isolated a lot of my life around just family members. And I did have friends, but they weren't healthy, a lot of my friendships. So, because of my experiences, I just didn't really see my value. And when I got to start, really looking inside myself and venturing out, which is when I met this party online, I started caring more about myself and having standards with the people that I dated. And, this guy presented himself as a pillar of the community. So I believe the chaos. But that's where, I ran into issues. I should have spent more time investigating him and, not being so open with my personal information that he eventually held against me, used against me. So that's it. Yes, I have been a part of some abuse. I don't want to go into detail, but I just to make it a sexual abuse. I've been, it wasn't family members, but I've had experienced sexual abuse in the past and some other things that I just really don't want to go into detail. So it has caused some havoc in my life. I went to a support group, and I noticed with the majority of these people at the support group speaking that like 80% of the people there have been victims of some sexual abuse, like molestation or something like that, that was at the support group that had issues growing up, with their life. So that's very normal for people to have issues when they have been victimized and been a part of some sexual abuse. Okay, so there's that. And let me try to call the police department again. Okay, I'm calling Addison. The Addison police aren't supposed to know me, but they're scammers.
Dispatch is close. I can help you.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
My name is Lewis, and what is your question?
Your name is what?
My name is Lewis, and you said you have a question. What is your question?
Oh, this is being introduced unusually. Okay, so if the government is a part of harassment schemes, isn't that still harassment? If the government's doing it, isn't it still a crime, or does it change because the government's doing it?
What particular issue are you having?
I just explained it. I'm a part of a harassment scheme. Are you covering up for it and I don't know you? I'm a part of a harassment scheme. The government is harassing me because I'm a government witness and I'm targeted. I've been trying to report this for years. There's like 70-something reports. Dallas police alone won't investigate, ranging from me being trapped on trains, thefts, robberies, assault with a deadly weapon, ran off roads, cars speeding up like they're going to hit me, child abuse, interference with child custody crimes, stalking.
What is your address?
I have a question, sir.
Okay. I don't know that question, but I was trying to get your address to determine the officer that needs to talk to you. I'm not a lawyer.
Do you already know my address? Because I don't understand why you would need my address for me to answer a question.
Okay, what city do you live in? So I can refer you to the appropriate resources, ma'am.
I'm in Addison. Sir. So okay. Can we discuss? All I want to know.
I'm not qualified to answer that question. I can have an officer contact you, or I can connect you with the Addison courts, and they would better be able to advise you.
Okay,
but
so you don't know.
Your question.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand, because multiple parties haven't been able to answer this question for years. So if the government is committing crimes, you don't know if it's still a crime. It's a double standard.
I'm not saying it's a double standard. I'm saying I would have to refer you to the courts, and you can talk to the courts, and they would better be able to advise you.
It's a crime, sir. It's a crime. I don't know why you would be answering the calls and answering the phone. It's criminal. It doesn't change because the government. I don't know why you're being rude. It doesn't change because.
Rude, ma'am. I'm asking you. I'm trying to help you out.
Hacking someone's phone, hacking a network is a crime. To repeatedly all over the United States to experience this chaos over and over again, it's criminal and abusive. This is a phone that I'm paying the bill for. You have no right to interrupt my calls and control me by having me call counterfeits that cover for all the crimes that happen to me.
I'm trying to help you the best way that I can. I'm trying to help you.
Okay, I'm done with this scammer.
To the appropriate resources.
Who are you asking me to call?
I'm not asking you to call anyone. I'm going to transfer you. I can transfer you to the Addison courts. When they open up, I can have the
Addison courts. Addison courts. Why in the world would Addison court be a? Why would you refer me to them if the government is a part of harassment scheme?
Something is legal.
You know the strangest thing.
With your situation.
If they try to drain you emotionally on purpose, it's meant to be abusive. It used to be way worse when I wasn't recording. It's on purpose. It's not on accident.
Okay. Would you like to have an officer contact you and make a report?
No, I don't know where to. I don't think the Addison court would be a good reference to figure out if the government committing crimes is still criminal. Does it change because it's the government? I've called all morning. I've been on the phone like something on my counter is like saying 19 minutes, 20 minutes, and no police department has been able to answer me if the government commits crimes. Is it still criminal? I think that shows that's a downfall of our society. If the government has a free range to commit crimes and there's no consequences for it, how out of control can this get? You should readily know if the government's committing crimes. It's still
that would be
criminal.
something you would have to take up with the federal authorities.
What federal authorities? What number to get the federal authorities?
Which specific one do you want to contact? Would you want to contact the FBI? Would you want to contact? Who do you want to contact?
I don't know who I need. I'm asking for direction from law enforcement, and it's been deprived for years. So who do I need to contact to find out?
I can have an Addison police officer.
You said the federal government. Why would you introduce the federal government and then not give me any resources to contact them?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Let me see if I can get you a number.
Okay.
That you can contact. This opens up at 8:15, and if you're ready to copy the number, I can give you their phone number.
972-559-5000.
That is correct.
The scammers I talk to on my phone keep hanging up and covering for the crimes. So that I've been calling them for years, and they have not done an investigation. When I went in person, I was handcuffed to prevent my report.
Okay. How would you
and
like
then they gave me an illegal criminal trespass, so I couldn't go back.
How would you like me to help you?
I would be a start by not covering for crimes and, being compassionate.
I'm trying to help you the best I know how. You have the number to the FBI. I've offered to have an Addison police officer contact you.
I just want a definitive answer.
Multiple revenues of resolution.
I wanted a definitive answer where you can place me on hold to figure out if the government is part of crimes, if they commit crimes. Isn't it still criminal? I don't understand why that's so hard to get information on.
You would have to contact a lawyer or the courts to help you out.
Okay, so you don't know if I'm calling to report crimes. I can't
exactly
speak, sir. Everywhere I call, this is abusive.
Question.
For me to consistently keep paying for phone service that you guys interrupt me escaping your abuse, it's sick. I don't appreciate paying my phone for phone services that routinely are interrupted by scammers. It's sick. So can you let me talk and stay in character?
I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to help you.
You can't figure that out if you keep interrupting me, like multiple parties, like when I tried to report to the FBI the crimes and they interrupt the tip and have to go. That's why I don't think that it's productive to call them, because they interrupt the tip and try to get off the phone and cover for it. I'll call them again so the viewers can see what's going on. Okay, thank you.
GOV.
This is the FBI.
Otherwise, please listen to the following options. If you are a sworn law enforcement officer, if you would like to register a complaint, please press 2.
I'm registering.
If you would like information on an employment application, please press 3.
Hello. Thank you for calling the FBI. This is not a 911 service.
Okay. I'm going to give a different name because the scammers
During the call, you will be asked to provide identifying information
have me
about yourself
blacklisted
and
from
the
getting
person
information
you are calling.
and making reports.
This information to assist in investigating your
So I have to
case.
give a different name for
You
them
don't
to
have
even
provide your name or other personal information.
speak with
However,
me.
the lack of information may delay or hurt our ability to investigate your case. One moment while I transfer you to the next available representative. Your call will now be recorded.
So if you can imagine the government being an abusive stalker or jaded ex, this is what it feels like. They're abusive. They're being used by this party, and if a government can be enlisted in abuse, that's exactly stalking, harassment, emotional abuse. This is exactly how I feel. Enticing churches to be abusive, other locations, public humiliation.
After the instructions
And I can't do anything because it's the government. I just have to sit in it, depriving me of relationships with my daughter, other individuals. So the girl that was supposed to do my hair said she was she's normally good about doing my hair, and I haven't had any issues with, her keeping her word when she said she was going to do it. So I met up with her to do it. She said she had to get her phone. So I paid her the money to do my hair so she can get her phone. Then she said there was some kind of situation. She needed to go back to where she stayed. So I took her back to where she stayed. She said she couldn't leave. Then she was supposed to do my hair Sunday. That didn't happen. So it was no big deal because I didn't call her. So she's not returning my calls, but she got part of the money for doing my hair already. But this is abnormal behavior for her. But they did this in Itasca. Multiple parties that were supposed to do my hair would not do it. It was strange.
May I have the spelling of your first and last name, please?
Michelle, Michell. Henderson, Henderson.
Okay, so Henderson.
Yes.
Last name?
Henderson.
First name M-I-C. And then first name M-I-C-H-E-L-L?
Yes.
Okay, and a date of birth?
It is 4/9/73.
4/9/1973?
That's correct.
All right, and what is a good phone number?
It is 469-665. Yes, I wanted to know, isn't it still criminal if the government's committing crimes? If they're harassment and part of identity theft and all that, it doesn't change if the government's committing the crimes, right?
Wait, say that again?
If the government is part of a harassment scheme, that's still considered harassment, right? If like police and constables and multiple other parties are part of a harassment scheme, that's still harassment, right? That doesn't change, right?
Correct.
Okay, well, I want to report that this person that's getting violated on YouTube, she's called multiple times, but you guys disregard her and tamper with evidence and won't let her speak. I've witnessed it on her YouTube channel. So she can't tell you what she experiences because you guys keep covering for it when she calls. This is a complaint line.
What's their name?
The name of the party?
What's their name?
I'm sorry. What is your question?
Okay, so what is the person's name? Is this the person that's being harassed, or?
Right. That her name is Keyana, Keyana, and I witnessed her call you multiple times, and you guys interrupt her and won't let her do the tip properly, and have not done a proper investigation.
Okay, so Keyana.
Right.
And then last name?
Clark, Clark.
Clark. And do you happen to have her date of birth or a phone number? Okay, and so you said that she is being harassed on YouTube?
The government, she has been harassed. The government is harassing her. I've seen constables, DART, police, multiple police harassing her, covering for child abuse, interference with child custody. She's been ran off roads, trapped on trains, guns pulled on her, and the police were denying investigation for all these crimes and records. It appears that she's targeted by multiple different police departments. She's had multiple false arrests, been deprived of her right to go to court. And when she tries to call and report it, people are rude at when she calls the FBI, they hang up and cover for the crimes.
And how do you do you know this person, do you know her personally, or are you friends, or that type of thing?
I just witnessed a YouTube channel. Ma'am. I can give you that information too. I don't understand why when she calls the FBI, they were hanging up on her and preventing her from making tips. She claims that her phone is hacked and that her providers will keep covering for it, as well as the police department enforcing the crimes. She's had child support payments stolen. I don't understand why the FBI wouldn't investigate that and deprive her of law enforcement with multiple different police departments. Isn't that something that the FBI investigate? Why would they not investigate all this chaos happening to her and multiple different police departments targeting her?
When did
Ma'am,
say that you saw
why would the FBI not investigate multiple different police departments targeting her?
Okay, so we're an intake line only. We intake information. We are not the investigative side, so I cannot speak to what is and what isn't.
So would the FBI be covering up for crimes if they did not deprive her of the right investigation? Why would the FBI cover for crimes for multiple different police departments targeting this lady and enforcing child abuse?
Would you like to provide the YouTube channel, the name?
Yes, it's Keyana, Clark, Clark, her name, Peace. And apparently she's been reporting this for years and getting bullied when she goes in person and giving fake criminal trespasses. As a citizen, we're trying to figure out why the FBI would deprive this lady of being protected along with the police.
Did you say it's her first and last name and then the letter P as in Paul?
A Peace, the name, word Peace, Peace.
Oh, P-E, okay.
But what I'm trying to figure out is if all this chaos is going on, why would the FBI deprive her of investigation for her being targeted by multiple police departments and cover up for child abuse
So,
and
as
multiple
I
other
said,
crimes?
we're an intake only. So,
Well, this is the complaint line. This is the complaint
line.
line. She's been calling years to get nothing resolved, and I don't know why this lady would be deprived of investigation and law enforcement all over.
This documented. Thank you for calling.
Ma'am, I have a question on what to get results. This is the complaint line. She hung up.